Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches. No importa la hora que sea, siempre es el momento para aprender español con Profesor Pablo y Learn Spanish with Profesor Pablo. All right, what I say is, hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Hi friends, how you doing? Buenos días, good morning. Buenas tardes, good afternoon. Y buenas noches, and good evening. No importa la hora que sea, no matter what time it is, siempre es el momento, it's always time para aprender español, to learn Spanish con Profesor Pablo, with Profesor Pablo, and learn Spanish with Profesor Pablo. All right, so our lessons now are up into the mid-20s. This is a great project. It's a passion of mine, teaching Spanish, and I hope to get better for you. As we go through our lessons, sometimes I'll look at a video that I've posted and I think, you know, I could have explained something else in a little more detail or a little better. So sometimes I come back to the same topic and not reteach it, but teach it in a part 2 and add some more parts to it. So that's what we're doing here. We're going to talk about saying how you feel, etc. Okay? Because in Spanish, this verb estar is like everywhere, right? Estoy, estás, está, estamos, están. Hey, do you know what this means? Arriba las chivas! Yeah! Arriba las chivas! Okay, get back to our lesson. Estoy, estás, está, estamos, están. It's going to be like your shadow. Wherever you go in life, it's going to be there with you, okay? We know they have accent marks, and we know they have accent marks at the end because they're stressed on the last syllable, and in Spanish, we can't do that. It violates the rules, so we give it an accent mark. Well, when we talk about how you feel, these are adjectives about how we feel, but there are a lot of other words that are used with a star that aren't just always describing how a person feels, but maybe where something is, or if something's finished or incomplete. Okay, we'll be getting onto those as we move on with the verb estar. There's all sorts of adjectives, but I clustered them today. You know I love clusters. That's one of my things. I clustered them not because these clusters are really no different from each other. These 4 clusters all fall with the same rationale. This one, though, is different because you notice they don't end in O. So let's talk about using these adjectives with the verb estar to say how you feel, and of course, how we feel, they feel, he feels, and so on. We know that triste and alegre means sad and happy. If a guy's triste, a girl's triste, the same. Alegre for a guy, alegre for a girl. They both end in E, okay? They don't change. But if you go plural and you want to say they are happy, you take the N factor. If a verb ends in N, it's always they or you plural. So they are happy would be están alegres. We know how to make a word plural in Spanish. You just, if it ends in a vowel, you add S. So tristes and alegres are the plural form. Again, if a guy's triste, a girl's triste. It doesn't change. Feliz. Now we know feliz means happy. We hear all the time, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Dia de la Madre, Happy Mother's Day. We hear the word feliz all the time. Felicidades means congratulations or happiness, right? So down here we have Z with an arrow, C with a mark here, meaning greater than. We're trying to say that Z changes to the letter C in front of an I or an E. So feliz. If I'm feliz, a girl's feliz. If I'm feliz, my wife is feliz. Feliz is good for a guy or a girl. But to go plural, what do? You have to change the Z to C. So this would be felices, would be F-E-L-I-C-E-S. If I want to say we're happy, estamos felices. She's not happy. Ella no está feliz. But when you go plural, felices with a C-E-S. The key point to remember, the letter Z changes to the letter C in front of an I or an E. All right? So much for that. Now, all these other adjectives here end in O. Cansado, tired. Enojado, mad. Dormido, asleep. Ocupado, busy. Preocupado, worried. Asustado, scared. Casado, married. Perdido, lost. Sentado, seated or sitting. Acostado, lying down or like in bed. Los niños están acostados. The kids are in bed. Parado is standing. And then here we have enfermo, sick. Confundido, it's a cognate. Confused. Nervioso is a cognate, nervous. And seguro, sure. Okay, why did I put little clusters? Because I'm finding out that when I just have a mega list of words, they just kind of blend in together too much. So we're going to attack little cluster by cluster. Cut up your food into small bites, they say, right? Okay, good. All right, let's go here. If a guy is cansado, a girl is cansada with an A. If I'm enojado, I'm a guy. Okay, if my Chivas lose, I'm enojado. A girl, enojada. If I'm asleep, I am dormido. But if my wife is asleep, she is dormida. So we have right here in this cluster, these adjectives that end in O. Well, they end in O for a guy. They end in A for a girl. They end in OS for a group of people, a mixed group. If you have 99 guys and one girl, you still got to go with the OS. Like if I want to say they are seated, I would say están sentados. If I have 99 girls, put it this way, and one guy, all these girls, but there's one guy in there, and I want to say they're seated, I have to say están sentados. But if they're all girls, if there are 100 girls, I would say, and only girls, están sentadas. So adjectives that end in O. Most of the adjectives in the Spanish language end in O, right? And so that's telling you that, okay, for someone masculine, a guy, right, it's going to end in O. For something feminine or a girl, it's going to end in A. And again, you could have pintado here, which means painted. If I want to say the house is painted, I would say la casa está pintada. Because I'm saying casa, I can't say pintado. I have to say pintada with an A at the end, right? An A. La casa está pintada. We're going to get into a lot of adjectives like painted and repaired, closed and open that aren't referring to people, but it follows the same pattern here. Estar plus adjective. So technically, grammatically, they call this adjective agreement. The adjective has to agree back with whoever you're talking about. If you're talking about girls, it's going to end in AS. If you're talking about guys, it's going to end in OS. If you're talking about a girl, it's going to end in A. If we're talking about one guy, it's going to end in O. So here's our first group. Cansado. Mom is tired. Mamá está cansada. Dad is mad. Papá está enojado. The kids are mad. Los niños están enojados. Dormido. The dog is asleep. El perro está dormido. Let's say it's a female dog. La perra está dormida. La perra está dormida. If you have two dogs, right, and they're male and female, or both male, you would say the dogs are asleep. Los perros están dormidos with the OS. Okay, we got that. Let's look at this cluster. Ocupado, busy. Preocupado, preoccupied, or simply worried. Asustado, scared. And casado, married. Pablo, Profesor Pablo está casado. Watch. Let's create. Let's use your brain, right? You know, feliz. We're going to learn soon that mente is your mind, la mente, but mente as an ending is the same as ly in English. So if I want to say Pablo is happily married, there's no truer statement on earth than that. Pablo está felizmente casado. Pablo está felizmente casado. Pablo is happily married. We're going to learn that. Happily. Mente. Felizmente. We're going to learn mente is the ly ending in Spanish. But that, my friends, it's another lesson. All right. Preocupado. Mom is worried. Mamá está preocupada. I am worried. If I'm a girl, I would say, Yo estoy preocupada. Why are mom and dad worried? Well, we know por qué, 2 words, accent on the E. Why are mom and dad worried? Porque mamá y papá están, they, the N factor, porque mamá y papá están preocupados. ¿Por qué están preocupados? Why are they worried? Ending in OS. Asustado. ¡Ay, Chihuahua! Estoy asustado. I am scared. Las chicas están asustadas, ¿verdad? Las Frankenstein. Aquí está Frankenstein. Las chicas están asustadas. Las chicas están asustadas. The girls are scared. Asustadas. Casado. Pablo's married. Pablo está casado. ¿Quién más? ¿Quién más? ¿Quién más? ¿Quién más? ¿Quién más? Taylor Swift no está casada. Taylor Swift isn't married. Taylor Swift no está casada. So we have busy, we're busy. Sorry, lo siento, which literally means I feel it. Like you're upset, you're frustrated, you're sad. When you say Spanish sorry, it's lo siento, which literally means I feel it. No, you're feeling their frustration. You're feeling their upsetness. I'm sorry, I feel it. Lo siento. When you say lo siento, you learn it means I'm sorry. You just say lo siento without thinking about it. But literally it means I feel it. Sorry, lo siento. Okay? So if we want to say, where are we here? If we want to say we are busy, it would be estamos ocupados. We're worried. Estamos preocupados. Mom and dad talking to the kids. Come on, guys. You're getting in too late. Estamos preocupados. We're worried. Let's go to our next cluster. Perdido is lost. Sentado, seated or sitting. Acostado, lying down like in bed. And parado is standing. Okay? So if I want to say the little girl is lost, I would say la niña. La niña está perdida with an A. La niña está perdida. These adjective endings are like a combination to a safe. If you put the wrong ending on, it's not right, it's not correct. And that's why we're taking all these fine points of the Spanish language, because we want to build the greatest Spanish speakers and writers around. You can say, hey, I took Profesor Pablo, and hopefully that's going to mean something to someone someday that, hey, you know the details. You cross the T's and dot the I's. Okay, the little girl is lost. La niña está perdida. The girls, the children. Las niñas are lost. Las niñas están perdidas. With an AS, we're talking about 2 girls. All the students are seated. Todos los estudiantes están sentados with an OS. Well, if I want to say, why aren't the girls sitting? Why aren't the girls sitting? ¿Por qué las muchachas, por qué las chicas no están? ¿Por qué las chicas no están sentadas with an AS? ¿Por qué las chicas no están sentadas? Okay? You want to say the kids are in bed? Los niños están en la cama. Literally. Los niños están en la cama. Right? Finally, mom and dad get a break. Woo! Los niños están en la cama, but it's good to say, los niños están acostados. Estar acostados means they're lying down, meaning they're in bed. Okay? Los niños están acostados. Why are you standing? We're at the dinner table, and you're eating standing up. Why are you standing? ¿Por qué? You're talking to someone you're familiar with. ¿Por qué estás parado? ¿Por qué estás parado? Why are you standing up? Why are the kids standing? ¿Por qué los niños están parados? Okay? Let's take another little cluster. Again, instead of putting all these in one big group, it just doesn't look so good. I like to split things up. Let's go enfermo, sick, confundido, confused, nervioso, nervous, seguro, sure. Ask your friend, are you sure? ¿Estás seguro, Juan? Are you sure? ¿Estás seguro? To a girl, you'd say, ¿estás segura? ¿Estás segura? Did I say this earlier? ¡Arriba las Chivas! Those of you that are familiar with soccer in Latin America and Mexico, arriba las Chivas. Okay. Are you sure to your friend? ¿Estás segura? ¿Estás seguro? Why are you nervous, Mom? Mamá, ¿por qué estás? That's fine with your mom. ¿Por qué estás nerviosa? With an A. ¿Por qué estás nerviosa? If you want to say everybody is nervous, we're all nervous. Todos means like all of us. Todos, we, it's always the longest verb. Todos estamos nerviosos. Todos estamos nerviosos. We're all nervous. We're all worried. Todos estamos preocupados. We're all busy. Todos estamos ocupados. We're all happy. Todos estamos felices. We're all tired. Oh, todos estamos cansados. We're all mad. Got it. Todos estamos enojados. We're all confused. We're all confused. Todos estamos confundidos. Todos estamos confundidos, right? We're all lost. Todos estamos perdidos. You see how we introduce something new? Todos, all of us, todos. Todos can go with estamos or están. If you say all of us, including yourself, you're going to go todos estamos. For example, we're all worried. Todos estamos preocupados. But if you want to say a teacher talking about the kids and say, they got these tests coming up, they're all worried. That would be todos están. Todos están preocupados. Okay? We're getting really good with the verb estar. Estoy, estás, está, estamos, están. We know that triste and alegre are good for a guy or a girl. If a guy's triste, a girl's triste. If a guy's alegre, a girl's alegre. How do you make it plural? You add an S. Tristes, then you got it. Feliz, the plural of feliz is felices with a C-E-S. Z changes to C in front of an I or an E. Feliz. If a guy is feliz, a girl is feliz. Feliz Navidad. Merry Christmas. All of our adjectives that end in O are good when they refer back to something masculine and singular. We're talking about people here, so when these refer back to a guy, to a male person, singular, they're going to end in O. When all these words here refer back to something feminine, a girl, they're going to end in A. If you're referring to a mixed group or all guys, it's going to be OS. And when you're referring to all girls, it's going to end in AS. Okay? This hopefully solidifies what we already learned about using the verb estar in adjectives. And this time I think I made it a bit clearer about the endings. It's so critical, the endings on an adjective, because that's one of the most common mistakes in the Spanish language for people that learn Spanish as a second language. They forget to make their words agree back to whoever they're talking about. Because in English, if a guy's worried, a girl's worried. If you're busy, a girl's busy, a guy's busy, we're all busy. It doesn't change in English. But in Spanish, you got a choice of 4, right? You've got 4 choices to make, and you got to get it right. There's no exception. We're not going to do this incorrectly. We're going to get it right. Okay. So thank you. And I'm loving doing these lessons. I love you, my virtual audience, and I'm starting to get comments from some of you, and I love the comments. Send the comments in. If you have any questions, I would be glad to help answer those as best possible. If you have a lesson request, please send it in, and I'll meet that request as best possible as well. So thank you. Hope you're enjoying life. Be good, be safe, and keep practicing your Spanish. Pull out that cell phone, pull out your iPad, your tablet, whatever it may be, when you're on the road, when you're traveling. If you're at an airport, for Pete's sakes, put in your AirPods or your little earphones and practice some Spanish, right? Like we said a couple lessons ago, there's no time to be aburrido. I didn't include it. Aburrido is bored, right? There's no time to be bored. There's so many things to learn in this life. Every moment is precious. You're precious, and I thank you and my opportunity here. I am very grateful for all of you guys, and thanks again. Hasta pronto. See you soon. Bye.